get everybody routed. So what happens is, they said, okay, let's do this. We'll just continue basically with our same hours for the beginning of school. You get where everybody is. It's usually by October 1st, it all settles out, and then we'll build our routes for the rest of the year. And that's basically where it comes from. It's not because of regular education students right now. It's because of that problem. We're making that shift to improve that so that's not an issue, and maybe we can get to that. That would make it so much easier for drivers too, if we can get that.
I mean, I get the
But it's,
seniority.
yeah,
I get
so
that.
we can work on that. Unfortunately, I guess I didn't really get in early for this last go around, and we're still waiting for ratification for that
So
contract.
if we can get before the bus routes change, please give the students' names and buses to
Okay,
the schools.
we have that capability right now. I was able to do that for some schools. It's just limited time to do that. I mean, I can do a basic spreadsheet of every single student, every stop they've got, 5 days a week.
I mean,
It's
we
just a
have
matter of-
vulnerable kids, we have vulnerable kids, and I'm sitting here as a parent and having the bus driver read off names and so-and-so comes, so-and-so comes, so-and-so, and I'm just like, this is not the way this is not professional, and it's not, it made me nervous putting these kids on the bus, it really did. So I just,
So the drivers at least
they
have
names.
lists now,
And then-
which they
and then
didn't
we
really
can't
have before. So we're moving forward. Some schools we're given a list. I've just been swamped and I can't get it out to all the schools.
get- No, I'm just saying,
When we get more staff, yeah, when we get more
make the
staff.
change.
Oh, when we make the change,
In 2
we should be able
weeks,
to.
I'm thinking in 2 weeks, we
And-
can make that change.
Okay. Also, I'll just say that in answering your question overall in the big picture, as we build these routes, drivers don't want to change routes. So hopefully we get these things, we just don't have enough drivers, so we're cutting and mixing and doing all this stuff. I'm not used to having to do that. You get routes that work, there's plenty of buffer in between each route, so if there's a problem, you're not gonna make the next school late. So as we get, and we can overcome those issues, we'll do that. And then drivers love to have the same students. They love to have the same students, yeah. The only time you ever replace is when somebody retires. And then, of course, there's gonna be a major bumping at that point. But that's usually the only time that you change. The drivers at the very bottom, yeah, the routes that don't have the big hours, that are only given 5 hours as opposed to 6 or 7 or 8. Those are the ones that are gonna be turning over because new drivers don't, there's a certain amount of dropout. So maybe 20% of our routes would have constant changeover every year, maybe a little bit. You can count on those. So what I've always worked is trying to figure out how to maximize the most hours for every driver. That aids in stabilization of the district. Drivers want to stay, they want to work here because they know they're getting the amount of hours so they can make a living. Being a school bus driver is not the easiest thing. I'll tell you. They're starving to death. So I've always had that as my campaign is to have, maybe not as many drivers, but can we get the school bell times and everything else worked out so I can have drivers that make 8 hours to make a good.
So then, can I just make one quick point?
Yes.
That's one of the key things that I'm hearing in all of this with multiple drivers, because I have 4 buses that come to my house, is the communication with the school site, especially in the mornings and the afternoons, with the aides and or school staff or whoever it is, making sure that there's a smooth transition with the kids, because sometimes the drivers get there and they have so much time to get student A off the bus, but there's no aide there or no school site staff there to accept that student and take them into the cafeteria, wherever it is in the morning, let's say. And so they end up waiting, and then the rest of their route is behind and late, and they're missing connections because they're also picking up other kids from school site Z to take them over to school site D, and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
So there has to be really tight communication with the schools and having those school personnel there and ready and able to take the
Right,
kids.
so just point blank, the district shot themselves in the foot. Carrie and I were here at that time when they did that. We're trying to stop the bleeding and make it realistic so that we can do a fantastic job of all of that. So, are there any more of these so I can get back to supervision?
No, but I do formally want to thank you for what you did do to resolve last minute signature issues with my family. Thank you.
Okay, good.
And I second that, Tom. I second that. Thank you.
No,
No, I,
Thank you.
get ready for Wednesday. Oh, hopefully we've made Wednesday a little bit better. It hasn't been easy, but the goal was in as many places as possible, have the same driver that's doing your students 4 days a week, doing it in the afternoon. We'll be making a push next year to try to get a district-wide early release, if that's what we're gonna do. Instead of some doing it one day, some doing it another day, and that's what's causing these problems. So we're almost there. At least we know now where to attack to make it better for all your parent again. Focus on that. All right, thanks everybody.
Thank you, Tom.
Okay, moving on to